Before I begin the video, I want to give thanks and appreciation to God because without Him, I wouldn't have the encouragement and perseverance to get up every day, and that's where my belief and faith rest in. I love you very much, God, and I thank you for allowing every day, every day. By the way, I decided to shorten my name from the Jasmine Diaries to the Jazzy Diaries. It also rechanged my aesthetic from my videos because I just thought it would be a lot more convenient this way. I just want to give you guys a quick update from that. But anywho, hey dudes and dudettes, I hope your day is going just as sublime as your face. Welcome to my channel, The Jazzy Diaries, where I give my opinion and analysis on movies and TV shows, and every blue moon I may vlog from time to time. In today's video, I will be talking about the Cheetah Girls movie series. While opinions are more than welcome, however, there are boundaries within having opinions which can be harmful. Please keep it respectful, insightful, and tasteful in the comment section if you do decide to comment down below, and the world will continue to be a beautiful place for everybody. Now with that being said, let's unpack this video. The Cheetah Girls has always been a Disney DCOM that has been the starter pack of Disney movies and still transcends expectations of what now versus then of what Disney used to produce as quality work and has been regarded as one of the best Disney movies on Disney Channel. The group members consist of Galleria Garibaldi, Chanel Simmons, Aquanetta Walker, and Dorinda Thomas. What drew me in was none other than the talented and beautiful who deserves her flowers and respect for her talent, Raven-Symoné, who carried the Cheetah Girls in the entirety of both films, and Adrienne Bailon's vocals were sublime and chef's kiss to the ears. And they are the only two voices you hear on the track, really, of both movies. It was definitely a lot of mismanagement against Raven-Symoné in my opinion, because she should have been pushed further out from Disney, and Disney, I feel, limited her because she was black, talented, a woman, and gorgeous, and couldn't really stand all the attention she was gaining by not being a part of a stereotypical racial norm that was most racist and insecure people are used to. But nonetheless, this movie was top tier and has strong points of being feminine while independent, being brave to go after what you want despite what others may say or feel, and not allowing ingenuine friendships or limitations to keep you from pursuing your dreams, and having a clear path of what you want and better priority than what appears to be good isn't always good. If you grew up in the early 2000s, this movie was peak childhood and so aesthetically nostalgic, and the inviting outfits and colors were so iconic that you want to see more, and the songs were so catchy and fun that you want to sing along with and have them memorized to this very day. What was your favorite Cheetah Girls song? The best Cheetah Girls soundtrack in my opinion was Cheetah Girls 2 and was the best movie of them all because of course they had Whitney Houston, the voice to aid them, and such a spectacular wave of talent that was the vocals of Cheetah Girls 2, but the plot of the Cheetah Girls movies was petty and very much one-sided. Galleria pretty much held the group together and had her priorities aligned in the right place, but wrong timing. Her mother, Mama Cheetah, was heavy on the no shenanigans when it came to the girl group and made sure she was involved specifically when she knew there was weird adult behavior going on or people trying to take advantage of them. The only thing that I would say Galleria was in the wrong on was how she was controlling the say-so of the group instead of asking them for their opinion on making a deal with Jackal Johnson, and how she treated Chanel, and I didn't like how she retreated into not holding herself responsible once the narrative was no longer suited for her. Even though Aqua and Dorinda barely had minds of their own unless it no longer benefited them, Galleria still should have talked her thoughts over with them so they all can be on one accord together. Because the only one that was for her despite her own insecurities was just Chanel. And why did it have to take Galleria leaving the group for them to end up not taking a deal? Apparently Dorinda had mouth that day as long as Aqua was by her side, which is really tacky when obviously Aquanetta had the biggest issue with Galleria and could have pulled her to the side, especially since they're both cousins. You should be on one accord with your family in that sense. They could have easily got their steps together in the talent show and called it a day, when genuinely, Galleria and Chanel should have just been a duo together as they both had more of an ambition than Dorinda and Aquanetta, who didn't really add anything to the story besides being stand-ins for the movie. Instead of just properly apologizing to one another and having their priorities together, as Galleria was the only one that did and wrote all the songs and was determined to see her dreams fall through, despite what everyone else thought about it, and her love interest in the movie along with his friend were such fillers too. I'm glad Galleria had a mind of her own and wasn't going to allow her passions for music to conflict with her moral standing. Hence, in Cheetah Girls 2 is why she should have went solo and should have genuinely cut ties with her cousin and Dorinda. Everyone was purposefully pulled away in different areas of self-serving interest to them instead of being focused and disciplined on a real reason why they're there, leaving Galleria to carry the weight of what should have been a group effort, much to Aquanetta's contradictory to her behavior of what she said to her in the first movie. She did not have Galleria's back at all, and Dorinda was just happy that some guy who claps off beat and has no rhythm was interested in her, and Chanel was just scampering off with another girl that shared the same insecurity as her, and they were all irresponsible, petty, and selfish, specifically Aquanetta, who never held herself accountable and was lazy and barely contributed anything to the group besides eating a lot. The one time when Galleria really needed them, they were MIA and immature and didn't take being in a group seriously, as if there aren't anybody else genuinely working towards their dreams and can't afford the time nor the luxury to waste time the way that they did. If you notice, no one ever bothered pulling Galleria away from what she was doing, because unlike the other three, Galleria had a stronger mind and wasn't weak-willed into mindless distractions like the other three. All that ridiculousness and unprofessionalism is what kept them from really being together as a group, and only came through realizing that without Galleria, there was no winning competition at all. Even though Galleria could do this in her sleep and by herself and left like the classy young lady she is and came back only to finish what she started, and nonetheless the ending came out spectacular. However, I was thoroughly disappointed in the execution of how they made the third installment of Cheetah Girls and not exiting Raven's character out properly. They really just had a picture of the four of them there instead of just writing her character out gracefully, and could have had it where she got a musical scholarship for college and decided to study abroad to expand her already talented writing skills in songwriting music for new artists, and could have given her a spinoff in her own movie, with her mom occasionally dropping in on her and Chanel checking on her too. I feel like that would have worked. Instead, 90% of Cheetah Girls 3 was spent on sabotage, competition, catty, ugly girl behavior, internalized misogyny, and cringy chaos that wouldn't have happened if Galleria was with them. She was the only one that understood feminine unity and standing on business and not allowing drama to stop her from being a superstar. Galleria was the most responsible and reliable and mature one out of the entire group, and I agree with her level of prestige and excellence in securing a prosperous future for herself and have her goals lined out. She started off as a determined control freak that did get a little beside herself, but when you look at it from her perspective, I don't hold anything against Galleria, and she ate Dorinda up and left no crumbs and remained assertive on what she wanted, even if it means not being in the group anymore, and was so sweet to still encourage her mom and her dreams and removed herself from the situation, and when it no longer suited a need for her to be in it anymore. Her hair was pretty, her determination was pretty, and God bless her for having amazing choreography in heels without breaking a sweat. She even stepped out of the way for Chanel, even though she was never in the way to begin with, because she cared about her friendship with Chanel and her feelings to get in the way of her happiness, and despite her being punished for being talented and awesome, she left an iconic mark on both movies and gave us vocals to vibe to anytime we feel nostalgic or a song coming on. We think of Galleria and the Cheetah Girls, giving us a soundtrack to this very day to listen to, and she will always be one of the most beloved characters on Disney who will always be distinctly sought after to this day. Chanel, to me, couldn't really make up her mind of what she truly wanted. I felt like she was just floating around waiting for someone to ask her what she wanted instead of just going after what she loved, and it was never really specified other than her singing with Galleria, and at first giving her mom's new husband Luke a hard time, and he was really a sweet man and genuinely loving towards her and her mother, not carrying any hidden intentions on why he wanted to marry Chanel's mom other than love her and take care of her and Chanel, as Chanel was always looking towards an outside source so that she could feel like her own person aside from being a Cheetah Girl. Chanel was the best voice in the group in my opinion, and her and Galleria had an understanding of their dreams more than Dorinda and Aquanetta did, and were the closest because of that. The only thing Chanel was in the wrong on was delaying the progress of their training together and not being by Galleria's side when she needed her, and putting someone else she just met 5 seconds ago before her priorities of practicing with the Cheetah Girls. And I think that's the only time she felt like she had a level of purpose outside of the Cheetah Girls, and was really Galleria's only friend and the only one that was really for her truly and sincerely about doing better than how she was and held herself accountable. Because she had trust issues over what her mom went through, but nonetheless, she remained loyal and allowed herself to grow from her insecurity. Aqua was annoying, lazy, and a procrastinating opportunity grabber, and our priorities were never together in all 3 movies. She was just there along for the ride and was a big moocher. She was definitely jealous of Galleria because of how pretty, driven, and focused she was, where she lacked, having genuine direction in life, and really no sole purpose other than being a nuisance in the movie. And they should have went with Solange and found a way to work around her schedule some way, somehow, because Keely Williams as Aquanetta was a disaster, as her character wasn't sorry for being petty to Galleria and needed an excuse to not hold herself accountable. Pathetic. Dorinda was just looking for outside validation from feeling excluded from 2 black girls and a girl of color. So every time she had a chance to distance herself from them, using that Joaquin guy as an outlet for her insecurities, instead of just genuinely working on herself and being a better friend to Galleria and Chanel, and stop assuming a role as a co-signer to Aqua's shenanigans, and being a background actress, instead of allowing herself to be her own person. Plus, she had a mousy, snippy attitude that didn't add any type of sympathy points for her lousy pity party she was in. Galleria would have rocked that stage by herself, and she was the only one resilient and strong-willed to pursue her dreams and become better from the mistakes she's made. I am so glad you came across my video, and I hope you enjoyed today's content. I appreciate you guys so much for taking a gander on my channel. Feel free to express your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you'd like to keep up any upcoming announcements, news, and posts on entertainment, be sure to check out my blog. The link is in the description box. And if you made it to the end of the video, comment a smiley emoji. And remember, without God, we all wouldn't be here. Well, that's all, folks. Have a happy rest of your day. Bye.